welcome back to Plan and Craft. I'm Natalie and today we're going to be creating stencils. So for those of you that joined yesterday, you'll have already done some open embossing folders that you can use as stencils. But one thing I would say is, and I might just wait a little bit longer, but one thing I would say is consider the thickness of your embossing folder if you're also going to be using it as a stencil. So the thicker your stencil is, the more of a halo you're going to get around your image when you actually apply your ink through it. With that in mind, there are other things that we can make stencils from. So I have some mylar, but you could also use things like repositionable vinyl. You could use masking film or stencil film.
Joyce says morning, Tracy says morning.
Morning Joyce, morning Tracy, I think.
Tracy, yeah.
Morning Carol, morning Thea.
No notice this morning.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, because it dinked on the iPad, so... Morning Deb.
What everybody thinks of the new opening credits?
Or did you all miss them?
I missed it.
So that's the start of us getting our graphics redone. We'll get there eventually. So I'm going to be working with mylar today, but if you want to work with white card, you can do that. If you want to work with acetate, lamination sheets, masking film, repositionable vinyl, you take your pick. The other thing to note is, obviously, as I'm working with mylar, it is going to be translucent, so you are going to struggle to see it on the map, but I'm going to show you a way that we can get around that. So I'm going to set the rest of my mylar to one side, if it will behave. Stay.
Joyce says different but good. Deb said missed them, Tracy missed them, Carol missed them. And it was Linda this morning, it wasn't...
It was Linda!
Linda was
Okay, so, cutting mat dear. You snuck it up there.
You put it away.
Gets legs this one as well. Okay. So, first of all, take off your backing sheet. Give it a quick clean if you need to. So, I think mine should be fairly spotless still. And I'm going to apply my mylar, and I'm going to come in 1 inch because I want to be able to see exactly where this edge is. And I'm going to line it up on my inch line. Yep, if you've got 10 by 10 mylar, you can use the foil shield when it gets there. Next, I'm going to get, you know how I said I only really recommend tape when we're using our foil? Here's the other occasion. So if you are using acetate or mylar or anything else where you're going to struggle to see the edge, if you slide your tape up against the edge, you'll feel it catch, and then we can place that down and we know exactly where our edge is. Yep.
Good morning, Nikki.
I'm going to slide it up against this right hand edge too. There we go. Now when it comes to where you're going to be finishing your tape, you want to make sure you stay clear of this top line. So this is where your blade does its initial adjustment to get in the right direction. So if you are using ACM, you'll notice all your little ticks go in the same direction. On a DX it's a little bit more haphazard as to where it's pointing the blade. So just go careful and avoid that area. Press it down well. So now it's time to turn on our machine. Did you not turn it on at the...
I did.
You must have turned it off rather than turned it on.
Oh.
There we go.
I thought I turned it on.
Oh, itchy eyes today. Yeah. So I haven't got my blade in my machine, so I can just go, okay. And do an initial judder. We don't need the memory from yesterday. And we can load our mat. Okay. So one of the things I want to talk about is actually dividing up your mylar. So if you're working with a 12 by 12 sheet and you want to create lots of stencils, then what you're actually going to want to do is actually divide up before you get into doing all your patterning. So if we go to pattern, border, we're going to go down, probably would have been quicker to go from the other end, and there's a nice solid line, so we tap on that one. Now it has a height of 0, that's because it's just a single line, that's absolutely fine, and the width you can set according to your particular stencil medium. Now when you're doing that, you don't want to go edge to edge, so if I grab a ruler and hopefully you can see that overhead. Okay, I'm going to line that up to the edge of my purple tape, and we can see that my mylar is just shy of 12 centimeters wide. So that means that our 10 centimeter line can sit in the middle, because we never want to be cutting off an edge, ideally. There are times when we do it by accident. But
Rachel says hello.
hello!
Being very out into the link.
Yeah. So now I'm going to bring that down. Now we know that our mylar is lining up to this first line here, so we can move that across. And at this point we can also do our background scan. So Rachel, in terms of what you've missed recently, see, that's why I don't like tape.
It wasn't there when it came out the other side.
Yeah, so yeah, tape
Make sure it's
is,
stuck down.
yeah.
That side was alright, it's just that.
There we go. Give it a little burnish just in case. So yesterday we did embossing folders. Monday we did embellishments. Then last week we were doing lots of Halloween work and autumn work, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good one to catch up on. I'll go back over. And then tomorrow we are doing Affinity versus Illustrator. So I'm just going to move that line across so it's in the middle. And then Friday we are doing foiling with the brand new foil shield. Hopefully.
Hopefully on that one.
Hopefully, because yeah, they had a little bit of a delay with getting the filament. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
That's okay. You're welcome.
So as we've got a line there, that's going to divide our mylar into two fairly even sections. So if you want to do something that is going to be layered, you can do that. I'm going to go add, pattern, and what should we go for this time? Should we go for some cogs and things? We can go steampunk. And you're going to want things that are
Fairly symmetrical.
fairly simple. So something like the notes will work, but the cogs, this detail in the middle is just going to drop out so that it'll just be holes. Now when we're working direct on the machine, you don't have that subtract feature, so whereas with canvas you can use subtract to create your bridges, or if you're using shortcuts a lot, you can use the bridging tool. Then when it comes to do it on the machine, you are pretty much stuck with having to work out what the outside line is, and that's going to be the hole. So in actual fact, I think I might go for music. That'd be quite cool. So let's go for note, and we're going to take it down as far as it'll go, and we'll go OK, OK, and that's going to be fairly big still, but we'll go and have 5 of those. So that's going to put them in an even line across the top of the mat. I'm going to go add again, pattern, pattern, and go back to our hobbies, and I'm going to go and grab the other note and again do the same. So take it down, small as it goes, OK, OK, and again 5 of those. So there's our next set of notes. Next I want to kind of play with the sizing, the rotation, and also if you want to flip some of them around. So for instance, with our notes here, we might go edit, object edit, and let's think if we want to flip it around, we're going to have to rotate it first. So rotate it 90 degrees, go OK, then we can flip it. So it's one of those really bizarre ones that if you want to flip it on your machine vertically, you have to rotate it first and then rotate it back round. So then we can always rotate it back up. And let's go and make that a little bit smaller. And just because we don't want to be bothering to do that lots and lots, I'm just going to put a few more of those in and scatter those. When we're resizing, it's always going to resize from the centre point. And obviously the smaller they are, the fiddlier they can be to get hold of. We always want to rotate in the middle of the mat rather than at an edge. Ooh, that's weird. Now, I've never seen a machine do that before. As it's rotating, it's kind of squishing it rather than doing a full. Might just leave that to it though. Looks kind of cool, so I'll go with. Let's rotate that one that way. And again, I'll just resize that. And put a few of those in. Let's get some of the single ones now. I'm just going to move these ones out of the way so that I can see my working area for my stencil a bit clearer at the top. It's not looking too bad. That one I think is going to have to move maybe somewhere over here. Let's put that there. This can be like a little space filler one, so that can go there. Go in there. I can go up to that edge. So you don't want it to sit too close to the edge, but also at the same point don't make your margins massively wide. And let's go for another couple of these. So resize again. and we'll delete those. Like so. I was going to say morning posty. Okay, so there's our first stencil, so we're going to go kind of for a background look. Now, if you want to do some text, then you can use your stencil font as well. So let's go, okay, and I'm going to go to add again, pattern, font, then we can use our stencil font. So let's think, what kind of thing might we go for? Let's go melody. We can then click on that so that it's selected, go to edit, object edit, and we can resize that down a bit so that it fits on a mylar, not too much though. So again, we can put that into the middle of our stencil. So when we're working with text, what we can do is actually do more of a background where we actually have different words that go at different angles. So you build a pattern with text, or if you're going to just want to pick out one word at a time, you can have each of those words at a horizontal and just use masking tape to fit in the letters that you aren't using at that point. So the choice is yours. Okay, and let's think, what else could we have that is kind of musical themed? So I can go back to pattern, back to my stencil, and we could have sing. Now if you wanted to, you could leave it that big, and that could also start to form a design in itself that you could use as a background, where we've got lots of blocked words that all finish at the same point. Also makes a cool background. So if you then wanted to create an instrument to go over the top, like a saxophone or a guitar, then you can find layering SVGs that you could use that with. So with that in mind, I'm going to keep going, and let's go lyrics, or lyrical. Let's go lyrical. So again, it's going to be really way too big. Resize, and we're going to take it down. Slowly move that across. Okay.
So notes, tunes, songs, music.
Yep. Yep. So let's do. Actually, how about note rather than notes? Because note can be kind of
A note to say.
yeah, so you can use it in different things too.
Should we just mask off the S if you don't mean?
Oh yeah, that one. There is that. There is that.
So,
In which case, then I'll go okay, and let's delete that out.
you're gonna leave the S.
No. I will add it in properly. As you say, you can always mask off the S. You can't put it in after, so, well, you can, but
You can, so you've got the S in song. You can,
it might not be the same height though.
the S in music.
There we go. So now, let's bring this down here. and get it roughly in the middle because it does help. Resize, down we go. Oh, too far. Almost looks like it needs one long one, doesn't it? Anybody suggest a long letter? Long letter? Long word?
Musicality.
Ooh. That's a very long one.
Musical.
Musical, yeah. We'll go with musical. I think if I try and do musicality, the letters are going to be like tiny.
Singer.
Singer. Yeah, let's go for singer.
That can be used for sewing as well.
Yep. Other brands of sewing machines are available.
Do you know?
And they all come with pedals, don't they, dear?
Wouldn't know.
No,
Symphony.
apparently not.
Carol.
Symphony, I like that.
Yeah, but space for symphony.
I don't know, actually, Symphony might actually work better. Because it'll go that little bit smaller, because it's an extra character. So, let's go Symphony. Part of the joy of designing it yourself, isn't it, that you can go, well actually, I think that would work better.
Not enough space on your map for symphony. You have to shrink it in there.
I'll shrink it in there first then. Well, it still needs to go a little bit more. Okay. So now looking at that, my melody looks like it needs to go back up a little bit. So. What?
Tracy said to go see you're an extra character.
That's 106, 106. Okay. So they all have a width of 106. They should all be able to stack. I'm going to go OK. OK. I'm going to go to multi-select. I'm going to use my window. Select the text. Okay, so there they are, all selected. Now I'm going to go to move, align. I'm going to line them all up centrally, so now they're in a nice neat block. And we can do our space between, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So in this case, it's a little bit off. But I can go OK. I'm going to click off it, and then we can use our arrow keys to just nudge it up a little, down a little. I'm just going to move my little cut line up a little bit, and this one needs to come up. There we go. Fingers crossed. That should be alright on the night. So, I'm going to go OK. I'm just going to go back to my window select. I'm going to go OK. I'm happy with those as a group, so we can go to Object Edit and we can group. Now we can move them as one without having to worry about whether they're losing space between them. And I'm just going to nudge this all up slightly so that we've got enough of a gap there. Now we can go OK. OK. Yep, so save it. USB. OK. And we can cut that out. Now I'm going going to use the vinyl blade for mine because it's got a few little delicate pieces, so particularly in the joins of your letters where you've got the little bridging bits, that's something you're going to want to kind of bear in mind.
Joyce says which blade you're going to use, but I think you stand.
Yep. If you don't have the vinyl blade but you do have a blue manual blade, you can use that too. Okay. If you're using repositionable vinyl, masking film or anything like that where it's going to have a backing paper, make sure you turn on half cut and adjust your half cut pressure accordingly. Unless you're on a CM, in which case unfortunately at the moment you don't have half cut, but what you'll actually do is you're going to drop your blade setting. So what I suggest doing is, if you're working with a new stencil film, if you actually start it so that your blade is at a half rather than one, and then work your way up until you get a cut that you're happy with. And then with that we should be ready to go. Any questions, do pop them in the comments and Ian will ask the question. Because I didn't introduce you today, did I? That was very naughty of me.
Just assumed.
Ah. So we're going to go, okay. Going to go to cut. And then it's going to take 11 minutes. So you've got 11 minutes of filling to do, Ian.
You can ask the question.
I might just put my speed up one notch. 8 minutes. That's a bit better.
Still 8 minutes to fill.
Yeah. Okay, so while we're filling, hopefully Joyce, you received your goodies. Those of you that haven't entered yet, huh? You haven't sent it yet. Ian, I'm going to sack my post boy. Did you forget one, did you?
Well, it's posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must have forgot that one. Sorry. I apologise, Joyce. I will get it into the post for you today.
I'll tell him off later. Anyway, as I was saying, those of you that want to take part in the challenge, if you can't find the file, then do drop me a line and we can send it by email. Just Facebook doesn't like SVG files for some reason. Trying to think what else I had on my list of things to mention. That's pretty bad. My brain's gone blank. Oh, and I found my embossing mat. Yay!
You didn't put up the Christmas thing, did you? Yes,
Christmas thing.
house.
Oh, yes. I am also going to do the booking for the Christmas house later. Because, yes, yeah. It was one of those days yesterday, wasn't it? I just couldn't get going.
Which one I need to call Andy as well, so
Yeah.
do that later.
So booking for that will go live. We're looking at doing it the first week in November, and it's going to be a weekend tutorial, isn't it? And we're going to have gaps basically between them, but so that you have time to do things. But we're going to first of all do the printed version, because there's going to be two different versions. You've got a printed version where you just cut it out, assemble, then decorate as you want to. So if you want to add tinsel to it, if you want to add lights to it, well, the lights are kind of essential, but you'll see what I mean when you see the house. So the printed version is going to be cutting Saturday morning. The white version will be cutting Saturday afternoon. I say the white version, but yeah, you'll see what I mean. The non-printed version, perhaps that would be the better way of putting it. Then Sunday we're going to be assembling, and then finally Sunday afternoon we'll be putting the lights in, doing the wiring. Laying the carpet, yeah. Decorating the walls. No, it's not that. It's not that intricate a house. Honestly, it's more intricate on the outside. The whole point is that you have this lovely, pretty outside.
Hanging the pictures of things and
Yeah. The back is just plain. So if you want to change how we do the back of the house, you can do. So if you want to put in a little advent calendar into the back, you can do. If you want to leave it so it's just a little hatch to hide a gift in, you can do, because all the wiring is at the front of the house. So you've got this big void in the middle. If you want to hide things in there, you can do that. Carol's got the Pro. Yay!
Just says nearly bought 1200, but it's too expensive.
Yes,
And,
yeah,
the
keep an eye out
Pro
for
was
the
cheaper,
Pro.
apparently, so.
Yes, the Pro. Well, the Pro was on offer for less than what Create and Craft are offering the 1200 for. So the Pro is definitely a better option.
Superstore's fucking thing that's going to Disney. Good old makers.
Craftelier are also worth checking out as well, if only for the free sweeties. Oh no!
Make it like an NAV,
Oh no! Oh no! Is there anything else I haven't mentioned?
Don't think so. 'Cause we can't really
Um,
say more about Foil Show till Friday.
No. Members Project is going to be another fun one. It's going to be a 3D one. If you're not a member, then do reach out and I can tell you how to join. So we do it through Buy Me a Coffee or through CF Fans. Oops.
That's always good to give the books a push.
Yes, so yeah, there are 5 books on Amazon now. I keep getting told off because I keep saying 4. It's 5. So yeah, there are 5 books available on Amazon for those of you that aren't familiar with them. Just search Go Create and they should all come up. I'm working on number 6 at the moment, which I want to have out before the end of the month, but that might be pushing it. I'm trying my best, believe me.
Mum's just popped in, it's a bit late.
Yeah. So, Mum, I found me embossing mat. You can have a little cheer. What else? There's going to be some digital sets going up on Creative Fabrica that are going to be digital papers, and we're hopefully going to be looking at actually doing some printed ones as well, aren't we? So
Yeah.
right, let's test out, see how we're doing. Hooray, there we go. Look at that. And this is when we love the scan and cut, isn't it? So you do cut first time. So if you've gone for something a bit bolder, you can use what's left on your mat as a mask. But to be honest, on this one they're just going to be too fiddly. So you could use them in shaker cards and colour them with alcohol ink. Yep. Now this is going to be interesting, trying to get this to show on a surface. Can you just pass me a bit of the black card that's by you, Ian? It might just show up better on black. There we go. So if I put the black underneath it, there you can see. So where we've got our cut line here, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to give it a little snip. Who's fine? There we go. Now, joys of stencils is that we can then take that to any surface. So let's grab a card, and our stencil is scissors. Let's grab me. Just so I know which size card I'm getting, it's 6 inches tall. Okay, so I'm probably going to go for a 6x6 then.
You're just going to put it on the floor of the
Yeah. It's I guess the card at this one. Yep, 6x6. That's a good guess. Really do need some way of actually putting dividers between these. There we go. So there's our 6x6 card. Going to give it a nice burnish on the back. Put that onto our card. So now we want to get our masking tape. And let's try and get this level. So this is one way you're going to want to use the grid on your cutting mat. I'm going to line my stencil up first, then use my masking tape. I could use my foil shield
if you had one.
if I had one.
Yeah, it doesn't
No, but what I may do is I might switch over to my station, just because masking tape is brilliant and most of the time it works, but sometimes it's a little bit stubborn. So to help it out, make use of your tools. One station. I'm going to use my magnets. I'm going to apply one in each corner, so i.e. where your tape's most likely to curl up.
The cut mats are different, aren't they? I've only just got 3 artificial.
Yes, the cut mats are different. They have different registration marks at the top, which is the quick way to tell which one you have. So if you have the round dots, it's for a CM. If you have the squares, it's for the DX. So if at some point, like me, you have both, then it's a good one to remember. What colours should we go for? Should we go nice and bright? So let's go pink, purple, and maybe a little teal. Oh, go on. That's what I'm going to go for. So, I'm going to go for ink. So, Kitsch Flamingo. Then Salvage Patina. And, oh, big stretch. Prize ribbon. And the purple looks like Dusty Concord. So normally with stenciling I'll start with my lightest colour first so that you don't cross contaminate too much. So let's go for...
You know you only have 4 colours and 5 ones. You have 4 colours and 5 ones.
Yeah. I wasn't planning on doing a one colour per word. So I'm going to start off with a little bit pink in our melody. Doesn't matter if you leave some white areas because you're going to have to go back and fill those in. Let's go lyrical. Now when you're picking up colour, if you rub you're going to pick up more ink than if you just tap. And a little bit into our symphony as well. So far so good. Next I'm going to go to the patterner. And let's go for notes. Now sing, I'm going to try and go a lot stronger in colour. So even though I'm using a lighter colour, I'm going to apply more of it. And if you go over a little bit of your other letters, it doesn't matter. The whole point is that it's all going to kind of blend. And a little bit more down here, like so. So that way we've got a bit of green in this side and a bit of green this side. Now, I know that my Dusty Concord, although it looks like it's going to be darker, it's a little bit on the dry side, so it's not going to be quite as strong as our prize ribbon, which is going to be like really, 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 really strong. There we go. A little bit there, and a little bit down this end too. And don't worry about blending them too much at this stage, because I'm going to go back over my lighter colour once I've cleaned off my stencil a little bit. And a little bit just there. Again, we can take a little bit into our sing, and a little bit into the top of our N, like so. Finally, we're going to go for our darkest colour. And let's go blue. Now, because I know this is extra juicy, I'm just going to give it a little tap on a more solid area of our stencil so I can see just how much ink I have in my brush, which is quite a bit. So just going to blend that over. Okay. Go back over the top. That takes away all the excess. Reload the brush, and now for our sing. So this one we want to go much stronger. Yeah, I've got to go back and put a bit of the purple into that. So a bit into the top of the eye. Just going to do a little bit down the bottom of the eye, and then through with the G, and again just gonna take off any excess. Now I'm going to grab a tissue and I'm just going to very gently go over the top. So this should pick up anything that is left floating on our stencil itself. There we go. I'm just going to grab my purple. So we're going to go back through the colours now. Yeah, look, the fabbing is done. I'll let it just on right at the top there. It's got the patterner. That's what I was trying to say. So again, just going to put a little bit more just there. Back to the pattern just to deepen the colours where it needs it. So if there's areas that you think you've just missed, yeah, I've still got the flamingo to go back to yet for that. There we go. Yeah, it's okay. So with the pink in particular, you want to try and stay away from anywhere where you've already got colours on your stencil. Now when it comes to washing your mylar, you can just literally dip it in a sink of soapy water and then dry. Da, 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 da. And there you go. Which is cool. So instead of having to pay lots of money for different block stamps, you can do it all with stencils, and you can ink blend through it, you can stamp through it. So particularly if you are using thinner stencil material, so going back to what I said at the top, if the thinner your material, the cleaner you're going to get that edge. So if you want to stamp through it, you need to go for something that is really thin. Whereas if you're looking for something that's going to take texture paste, you can cut through something thicker like lamination sheets and so on and so forth. It's funky, isn't it? Let's see if I can get that up to the camera a bit better. There we go. Which is cool. Yep, there we go. With the other one, if you wanted to. You could still go and actually use sections of that down as borders if you wanted to on that one, and likewise down here. Or as I said, you could cut yourself a microphone to stick over the top.
mylar you can get from Jackson's Art Supplies.
Yep.
And it's not very expensive. I think a 12 by 24 sheet is like
80p.
80p.
You'll pay more for postage.
Yeah. I think the little strips that we've got are like 10, 20p, something daft like that. Then they're not expensive at all.
Yeah, so if you have a 12 by 24 mat and you are finding that you're not using it very much, what you can do is actually keep that just for cutting stencils with, because with the 12 by 24 sheets you can get 8 6 by 6 stencils out of that, so you can cut them all in one go, and I have done previously, so it's
Or you could cut it in half and use a 12 by 12.
Yeah. If you haven't got a 12 by 24 you can go down to a 12 by 12, and that just means that you just cut 4 at once. Just use that tip with the dividing it first, then put your design in, rather than trying to do it the other way around. It just makes it a little bit easier. So if you want to finish it off, we saved it anyway, so I can go home, reset it, and if you go into your patterns, go into your hobbies, go down, you've got a little trumpet that you can use, you've got a little acoustic guitar, but likewise if you go onto somewhere like Design Bundles or Creative Fabrica, no doubt you'll find a microphone or something like that. Or if you're feeling really brave, you can create it with your basic shapes in your machine. Okay?
Carol's off to start rebuilding her shed.
What's wrong with the shed? And hopefully you sorted your windows now. Don't think we've missed anything. Yeah, Carol. Yeah, didn't read that one out, did you? We can tell that either you're not using your scanning cut, as in your CM now. We can tell.
The shed's about 45 years old, needs some work doing.
Thank you, Joyce. It's good to know that you are all enjoying the sessions, and it's really nice because we've had quite a bit of positive feedback this week, haven't we? So it's been nice. It's been nice. So join me tomorrow when I will be making a simple doily design using Affinity Design and Adobe Illustrator. If you have any questions about either of those, if you want to drop them in a message before I get started, or drop them in the comments of the stream, and Ian will be able to see it on Facebook, won't you?
Hopefully.
So you may struggle to see comments on YouTube tomorrow. Excuse me. Anybody think I didn't sleep last night? And
Havana says thanks.
Then
thank you.
Friday we will hopefully have the new foil shield and previewing 2 new colours of foil for you to have a look at and go, ooh, they're nice. So take care for now, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11. Bye.